Okay, so today's video is on in-text citation, video 5.5. In this tutorial, you're going to learn how to cite your source when you use a quote or textual support in your writing. Please don't forget to look for the pencil as we get started. All right, what is it that you should quote? Well, remember you can quote anything from the passage. Parts of sentences, whole sentences, several sentences. It doesn't matter, you decide. You don't have to look for something that has quotation marks around it. That is usually dialogue or sometimes when an author is being ironic and they just want quotes around it. But you can quote anything. It doesn't have to be something that just has the quotation marks around it. And also don't forget the ICE idea that we talked about in another video. The I stands for introduce the quote. So don't just have the quote hanging in there. It needs to be introduced. You need to cite the quote and then explain the quote and relate it back to your topic. So why do we use in-text citation? Well, you use in-text citation to give credit to the original author of your material. It also gives you credibility in your own writing because it gives you support to back up your ideas. And in-text citation is used to give a small amount of information on the source right next to the fact. More detailed information on the source is given in the bibliography, but we're not worrying about that yet. We'll do that when we do our next big essay. Now, what does in-text citation look like? Well, you're going to explain your quote first, right? You're going to add your quote with quotation marks around it. Even if you paraphrase it, you'll not need quotation marks, but you should still give in-text citation at the end of your paraphrase. For those of you that don't know what paraphrasing is, it just means when you put the quote in your own words, you still need to give credit to where you found that original information. Then at the end, you're going to add a parenthesis, the author's last name, the page number you got the fact from, a parenthesis, and then a period. It's really important that you put all of those pieces together. It's a part of the sentence and it comes before the period. Just remember, you don't need two periods on either ends as like bookends. You need just one period at the end of the last parenthesis. Now, I've written an example paragraph on author's purpose here, and I kind of wanted to go through and point out some of the different parts of the paragraph. I think if you're going for an A on this proficiency, you're likely going to have to do two good-sized paragraphs similar to what you see here. So, the author's purpose of this article, Congress Could At Least Try, by Michael Kraft, is to persuade the reader into thinking that climate change legislation needs to happen in the United States. So these sentences here are basically your topic sentence, telling the reader what it is you're talking about. And we've practiced this all year long. I do think it's a good idea to include the title and the author of the piece that you're talking about. Sorry about that. That just announced I was getting an email. Just ignore the beeping. Okay. Next sentence. In the article, the author states several times that the U.S. has not taken a leadership role in climate change legislation. So this part is me explaining or introducing my quote that I'm about to use. So, national climate change policy would send a strong signal to the world. It would show that the United States takes climate change seriously and that it is prepared to step out in front on the issue. That is my textual support, my quote from the article. Notice this section here is my citation. So I've got the author's last name, Kraft. I got this from page 2. It's inside parentheses, and the period comes at the end. Finally, this clearly shows that the author wants the U.S. to step up to the plate on climate change legislation. So these sentences here, or these lines here, is the E for the ICE idea. Introduce, cite, explain. So I've explained here and related back to my topic with this last sentence. So in your guided notes, I wanted you to point out what all of those different parts of the paragraph are. So please make sure that you pause and rewind if you need to identify and underline and off to the side label each parts of those paragraphs. Okay, you're finished. Please don't forget to fill out your summary and add in your hot question and press submit.